Welcome back to Gen X Unfiltered. Today we're talking about 90s TV watching or Netflix. Which era is best? Grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's go all the way back. Alright guys, welcome back to episode 2 of Gen X Unfiltered, the podcast.
That's right. Episode 2, we made it.
Weird. Today we're going to talk about 90s TV watching or Netflix streaming. Which era is best? I think
that's tough.
Off the top we probably have a thought, but I feel like discussing it and going a little bit back in time.
Let's discuss.
Maybe we'll change our minds. I don't know.
Or make a decision, I guess, as to which one is better. I don't know. I mean, I think both of them have pros and cons. It's
so we're going to settle the debate right here on the stream. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah,
that's right.
We're
going to answer this question for everybody.
The final decision. The only way I can think about this or debate this is to go all the way back to the first memories of TV watching and how that looked and how that was. And
that was a long time ago.
Did they even have TV back then?
They did, yes.
Barely.
Was it color? It was.
Mostly, yeah. I think everyone was color by that point, yeah.
I remember black and white TVs, though. That was a thing.
Yeah, we had a second clunky TV, and it was black and white. My mom used to put it in the kitchen when she was making dinner.
Yeah, same thing. We had a really old, I don't know what kind of TV it was, but it was in the basement, and it was kind of tucked away, but every so often you'd pull it out, and you could, tune the antenna and get some local stations.
Yeah.
But all black and white, for sure.
I think we can go way back, and because we've had a little bit of discussions off air, so fancy, about this when we were coming up with topic ideas, and Eric brought up something that made me think of what I didn't really think of, but you always talked about being a kid, and whenever that age was, and you'd wake up and you'd have your cereal and you'd watch Saturday morning cartoons. That was your thing.
That was my routine when I was a kid. I loved it. Getting up early in the morning on Saturdays before my parents were even awake. I'm sure I woke them up clopping down the stairs. They
were just happy that the TV was babysitting you.
Probably got myself a big bowl of cereal and sat in front of the TV and watched Saturday morning cartoons. It was the routine, and I when I was a little kid, I loved it.
Did you have the same cereal?
Depends. If I was lucky, I would have got Lucky Charms just with marshmallows in it.
That was my favorite.
Problem was, I only eat the marshmallows. So my mom and dad were like, "You're not wasting this box of cereal again. We're not getting you a cereal with marshmallows anymore." Yeah.
No, they're like, "What's the point?"
Yeah, exactly.
So, Steve, what about you? What do you remember? I mean, it sounds like a weird question, but what's the first sort of TV memories you have?
Well, I mean, if I go way back, I do remember sort of vaguely watching Sesame Street and stuff like that.
Yes.
But really, I do remember. I remember I must have been 4, and I remember really always Scooby Doo. It was on in the afternoon. I'm pretty sure during the week. I remember watching that. Always wanted to watch that.
Yeah, and go ahead.
No, I was just saying. And then there was Mr. Dress Up.
Yep.
Shout out all the Canadians watching this
Bernie
podcast.
Combs.
Listen, but Mr. Dress Up, stuff like that. Today's Special. I remember all that stuff as a kid, but not very well, but I do remember watching it.
Yeah, I grew up watching Polka Dot Door, the damn Pokeroo.
Yep, I remember
We
that
always
too,
missed Pokeroo. Polka Dot Door, Romper Room, Mr. Dress Up. What's the Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood guy?
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Sharon Lois and Brom. Again, we're Canadian, so some of these might be what?
Brom.
Bram.
Brahms, the composer, isn't it? Brahms. They're about the same level.
On Saturday mornings, listen to Brahms.
So sophisticated.
Fred Penner. I was not a huge cartoon fan. I know for shame my mom was.
Oh, man. I loved cartoons as
Me
a kid.
too.
My mom,
G.I. Joe, Transformers.
My mom used to watch cartoons all the time. And do you remember in the afternoons at because back then the shows were 15 minutes. They were tiny, some of the shows. They weren't full half-an-hour shows. And I remember she used to watch at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It would be Astro Boy.
Oh, I remember Astro Boy.
Woody the Woodpecker.
Yeah.
Woody the Woodpecker, that was really old.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that was an old cartoon as a kid.
Yeah.
Remember on Sunday mornings they had Hercules?
Oh, yeah.
And Rocket Robin Hood?
I remember those.
I remember getting those out from WUTV in Buffalo. There was on Sunday mornings and Davy and Goliath and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Commander Tom?
He was the weather guy, and he would host a kids show on. I'm pretty sure it was Sunday mornings, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, it was all out of Buffalo because we would, living here in Southern Ontario, we would get everything out over the year from our friends in Buffalo.
What about back then? I think I know the answer to this question, but just so the audience knows. But back then, were you one TV family?
Oh yeah, for a while our family only had one TV, so
That's why you got up at the crack of dawn.
I had to get up before anybody else was up so I could watch what I wanted to watch, because when the parents got up, things changed.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, no,
gosh.
definitely 100%. Always one TV until I got my own TV when I was like 16, maybe. I bought a TV. I bought a really like a 17-inch TV or something like that for my room.
Yeah.
It was always we always had one TV. My parents still only had one TV.
Yeah,
The two of them.
we were a one TV house. Like I said, when we got like our main TV or the family room TV, my parents still had a really old black and white one that they like had in their room or like in the kitchen or whatever. But yeah, the main TV was just like a one TV family house for a while, which, I'm sure we can all relate to our dads being the remote hogs.
Oh yeah, my dad was definitely the remote hog. He would walk into the room.
Ugh.
He had his little noise to make you be like, he'd grunt at you. He'd be like, like
Give it.
yeah, remote, and then you have to give him the remote, and he would just put on whatever he wanted to watch.
Like Sundays, it was always NASCAR and like golf, and I'm like,
Oh,
really?
right, yeah, well, yeah.
Or it would be like the old Western movie. Oh, I hated those movies.
Oh, I remember my dad watching a lot of those and trying to get me into them, like Clint Eastwood. I remember, like,
Yeah,
or even renting movies
the
too.
black and
like,
white.
yeah.
Oh god,
It was awful. Like, and then
Who
like,
wants to watch a spaghetti western?
yeah,
Not me. I gotta
was
go play.
awful.
This is why we all played outside.
that's true.
I know, true.
They put on terrible TV shows.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm going outside.
Yeah, I don't want anything. I'm out of here.
And then, but and then I remember getting a bit older and being like the preteen stage, and I mean, I feel like you guys probably watched cartoons for a while.
Oh yeah, I was watching cartoons until I was probably like 12 years old, 11 years old.
Yeah. I'm trying to. Probably around there.
Like
I think
Ninja Turtles and
Ninja
stuff
Turtles
like
and
that.
stuff like that. Yeah.
So-
X-Men.
Just like Eric had his Saturday morning routine as a kid, getting up early and with the cereal and all that kind of stuff. My Saturday morning routine was when I was like that preteen age, when they had like the Saturday mornings or into the early afternoon, they would have Saved by the Bell,
Oh, yes.
California Dreamin', Hang Time.
Yeah.
There was a couple other ones that they tried to. There was one like they lived in New York City, but they didn't last. It was just a couple of them that lasted a
Yeah,
bit
see, I
longer.
don't remember that. Yeah,
The City or something it might have been called. I can't remember.
Sounds dangerous.
I know,
Yeah.
City.
the City. But so my routine that I remember sort of the earliest where TV kind of was like, every Saturday in my house was grocery shopping morning. And when we got old enough to stay home by ourselves, like back then, I mean, we were like 7 and they're like, just stay home. Not really, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I was like 11, 10 and stayed home. The grocery store was around the corner. And then they would come home and it would be that was the best day because you got all the new food.
Yeah.
'Cause back then,
I remember grocery shopping on Saturday mornings.
And
Yeah.
back then, my parents only grocery shopped once a week. That was it. So by the time the end of the week, you had nothing left.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I would get my bologna sandwich on white bread with my cheese, and I'd have my like juice box. I know it sounds lame, but it was very exciting. And then I'd sit down and I'd watch 2 hours of that TV show.
No, I definitely remember watching all that stuff on NBC in the mornings.
Yeah,
I
it was
I
awesome.
used to love Saved by the Bell and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was like the new class, and it was like the whole thing.
Yeah. Those were on but New Class, that was wasn't it like a primetime show?
I don't know, maybe.
From what I remember.
It's
That
hard.
was the college years too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of those have been become, I thought, were like in the evenings,
Yeah.
I think.
But that's sort of my earliest memory of like a TV routine or ritual or something. If that, I don't know what the right word is, but that's sort of my
Did your
first.
parents let you guys watch, would they let you watch TV, or were they kind of like, get out and go play, or did they care if you stayed inside and watched TV?
Oh,
your
my parents kicked me out of the house.
Yeah.
They go inside and play. Yeah.
Yeah, usually I was okay to watch that little block of time.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I don't know though, maybe not so bad, but like, yeah, I would be like, go outside and play. And I grew up in a neighborhood with lots of kids in the neighborhood, so I mean,
Yeah.
it was easy to go out and play. But yeah, I mean, and then as you got to that age where you're just like, no, I want to loaf and be lazy, it's like, get outside.
Yeah. Okay. No, my parents. I was always told to go. For
Yeah.
a little bit in the morning, or whatever. But then it was like,
Yeah.
go away.
Go play, get out of my face. Like I said, back then, parents were just like, bye.
I had a friend.
Oh, yeah.
A friend of mine. His mom. I remember that. In the summer, she would take the remote control for the TV with her to work.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's mean.
So you couldn't easily turn the TV on, change the channels, all that stuff.
Yeah. I remember
Damn.
that. I was like, wow, that's hard.
Savage.
She said everything on TV they were Irish. Everything was this rubbish. Oh, rubbish.
Rubbish.
See how hard we had it as kids? Like, man, our parents were savages.
Yeah, I remember that. Even I was like, ooh, that's
Yeah.
she's not messing around here.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like today where kids all have their own tablets and like,
Yeah, that's
Now
savage.
it's like,
yeah.
I'd like to try and stop someone watching TV now. It's like you got to basically just shut down the internet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Shut off the
exactly.
Wi-Fi in the house.
That's really your only option. Yeah, it's everywhere.
And then I remember TV turning into like as I got a bit older in the teenage years, it was more the primetime TV, like the evening TV. That was like the big thing.
Yeah,
because in the 90s, like sitcoms were everything. Like everything.
Oh yeah. Like I remember like I'm trying to think of all of them, but yeah, there was like and then they had like sort of special nights too, right? Like it was like must see TV, like on was it NBC?
NBC
Yeah.
was mostly TV.
Yeah, and then like because you had like Friends and Seinfeld and all that stuff, and then like probably earlier than that, but I remember they had like Full House and Family Matter. TGIF.
Yeah.
You had Step by Step. Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
With Suzanne Summers and Patrick Duffy.
Thursdays and Friday TV nights were like
Huge.
huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a nerd, so I just stayed home and watched TV. But the huge, like Thursday nights, like you said, was the Seinfeld, Friends, and then they would throw in those other shows to try and get them because Seinfeld and Friends are obviously the huge
They
ones.
try and put in those shows to try and give them some traction.
Yeah,
Get people
exactly.
to watch them. Yeah.
It was Friends at 8, then Seinfeld at 9, so that 8:30 block, that was where they tested new
Yes.
shows.
Yeah, they throw in like
The Single Guy, Caroline in the City.
I
I
love
remember.
Caroline in
Yeah.
the City.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one. Single guy. I remember that one. Yeah.
There's the fashion one with David Spade. No, not Spin City. Remember David Spade? He worked at like
Oh yeah.
he worked at like
my
a
Was that
gosh.
Veronica's
like a
Closet?
fashion mag. It might have been Veronica's Closet.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it
Someone
was.
else was on it. Was it
Kirstie
was
Alley?
Kirstie Alley on that too, or
Yeah,
something like that?
they worked at
Yeah.
like a fashion magazine or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I remember that. Like not very well, but
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, yeah, I figured out all these shows.
Yeah.
So my early morning, Saturday morning ritual turned to the nighttime ritual.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely every night.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like I mean, I think the network's probably planned it, but like
Yeah.
usually every night there was some sort of big show on. Like
I think wasn't Mondays like the Beverly Hills Melrose Place night? Like, there was.
I definitely remember. I had an older sister too, so I remember her always watching 90210 and Melrose Place and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I remember being big in the X Files.
Yeah.
Oh, you love
I
that.
loved that show when it was on. Like
It
I
was like
watched it.
Saturdays, wasn't it?
I think it was Sunday nights.
Ooh,
I
yes.
forget. Was it?
I think it moved around.
Yeah, I don't remember what night it was, but I remember it was definitely at night. I remember watching it, but yeah, I remember like always being home because it was on. I want to say like 9 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
It was later
Yeah.
as a kid. That seemed late,
Exactly.
but I remember watching that like all the time.
Well, here's the thing, like thinking about all these sitcoms, and again, like I'm not even thinking of these things till we're talking about it, but remember, especially, we'll just talk about Seinfeld and like Friends, because I think between the three of us, those were kind of the major sitcoms we watched.
Yeah.
But remember the like excitement of the season finale and then the build up to the season premiere, like it was a thing.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
the whole like we said, like the whole must-watch
Yeah.
TV or whatever. Like it was
It was a big event.
it was an event.
They,
Yeah,
they definitely made an event out of like the premiere, like you said, the premiere and
Yeah.
the season finale and stuff.
And you
a
had
lot
to-
of times the finale would have a cliffhanger.
Yes.
You have
And
to
then-
all summer long.
No, that was always the one. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
lots of cliffhanger where there was episodes or season
Yeah.
finales and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And
And, then,
then-
like the build-up commercials would be like, what happened between like
Yeah.
Billy and Allison on Melrose Place, or
and then the whole like couple of weeks going into September when they started, like the previews were like such a thing back then. Like it was like you were just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
happen.
yeah. It was the only way you kind of knew what was
Yeah.
going on. Like
I
you know,
didn't sleep after waiting to find out who shot Mr. Burns.
I remember that whole thing, and then it
Yeah.
was like Maggie.
Maggie.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
I
sorry,
waited- I waited all summer for
if
this.
nobody saw it,
Yeah.
spoiler. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like Maggie Simpson did it. What the heck?
But do you guys remember like watching like Seinfeld? You go to sit down at like, so say the series finale of Seinfeld, which I know was huge.
I
Like
remember
everybody waited
watching
for
it.
it.
Yeah.
But do you remember the pain at the time of sitting down, hoping that the rest of your family, aka dad, would let you watch it, or he wanted to watch it?
That was
and
always-
fighting
yeah.
for it, debating over it, negotiating, sitting down, and then you have your popcorn, you have your Diet Coke, because I don't know, why not? And
I wasn't allowed to have pop.
it comes on TV, and like you and your we all have siblings, and you're sitting there glued to the TV, and then the cliffhanger for the first commercial break, and it's like, oh my gosh, you're scrambling to get your go pee, do this, and then you hear those words from whoever's sitting there. It's on.
Oh yeah, I remember that being up because our TV was in the basement, so you had to go up. Like it was not a very big house,
Yeah.
but I remember you had like jumping down the stairs.
Oh,
to
yeah.
save time to like
No time for stairs.
trying to
No.
like run and slide to the TV, like you're sliding like stealing home plate or something, like that, just to get right in the front before it starts.
Every second counted.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was tough because especially you say to go to the bathroom or you want to make popcorn or something like that.
Yeah.
That's 2 minutes at least, so it's like
At least
you had to time it.
in in my house, me and my sister had a deal. Like, one of us would stay by the TV during commercials so we could let the other one know when it was coming back.
Yeah, because it was a legit thing. Like, you never really knew. It was,
and if you missed, like, you know, the first, like, 5 minutes of the show, you missed it. That's it.
Yeah. Like,
there's no rewind or, you know, restart the stream or something.
No, you waited until at some point it would maybe come on as like a rerun over the summer or something like that. But, like, if you missed it, it was...
You gotta wait for a rerun.
Yeah, you just never saw it.
Somebody taped it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And this just made me think about, I don't know why this seems so archaic now. It is, but it's crazy to me that this was a thing. TV guides.
Oh, a whole magazine built around like what's on TV.
Yeah.
So weird. And you get it every week, and it was just like that was
Well, that was the only way to know it was on. I remember my grandfather always cutting out of the newspaper.
Yeah.
It was like the daily TV guide, and he would always cut it out and have it on his table beside it where he'd sit to watch TV because that's the only way he knew it was on.
But doesn't that seem so weird now looking back? Like, I don't know. It's how we grew up. It was the TV guide.
It was just what it is. It was what it was. You didn't really think about it.
Well, they sort of progressed over time. They had the TV Guide channel on TV.
Yeah.
I was going to say the TV Guide. That was a pain. That was actually worse because then you just had to wait for it to scroll. It would be like 5 channels at a time, and 5 more, and then so you had to wait till it get to your channel. It's like,
it was super painful to go through like watching the scroll go past.
Yeah, luckily there wasn't a ton of channels now. Like now there's like thousands of channels, where there's maybe 30 channels. I don't even know.
Here's a quick question for you guys, just because did your TVs have remotes?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, it did eventually. It had like we had an old TV, but we had like the separate cable box that went on top of the TV.
So you had to physically get up to change it.
No, it was remote control, but it wasn't. The TV itself was like an old school, like it was like a Eaton Viking TV or something like that. So it had the knobs on the front to change it, but then we got like a cable box that would connect into it, so that you would change it that way.
I always had a remote. I'm so thankful that I didn't grow up in the era of no remotes.
Oh, my parents' first TV didn't have a remote.
Yeah, I'm sure mine didn't.
Our first VCR had a remote that actually had like a cable, like almost like a headphone plug. It would plug in, and the cable would connect to it.
And that VCRs, like, that was a thing. If you weren't going to be home, if you had a part-time job and you were working, and then you had to ask your parents to record your favorite episode, episode of your favorite show, and it was like they had to put the VHS in, they had to hit record, they had to remember to do it first of all.
Well, that was the thing. I remember our second, I remember at some point we ended up getting a VCR that had like a timer.
Ooh. I remember those.
Yeah. So you could set it to go at 9 o'clock, but then it was always the same
channel.
It was tough for shows, especially like on weekends. I remember that, like Sunday nights, because you'd have like it still happens sort of now if you watch TV, but like golf goes long or something went long, then it would push the TV show back. So all of a sudden you'd go back to watch the recording, but it didn't start till like 9:30, so you missed half of it because you'd started at 9. And
whoa,
it was a whole big thing.
You just unlocked a weird memory.
Right?
So that was so weird. My parents in the late 90s got a new VCR.
Yeah.
And I thought, we've reached peak technology. This is it.
Yeah.
Because it had this thing called VCR Plus. And basically, instead of, it was a code.
Yeah, that's
instead
right.
Of putting in the time for a show to start, you look in your TV guide, bring it back to TV guide.
That's right. I
and the
forgot
show
about
would have
that.
a little code beside it.
Yeah.
The VCR Plus code, you put that into your VCR, and then automatically it would record that show. It would just know, like, okay, that's the code. This is the time it's on, and it would record.
I remember that. I don't think I had a VCR that did that, but I do remember that being a thing, because every show had it was like a 5-digit number, like 3062 or something.
Little Eric was like, "This is it. We've reached the peak."
Well, that's at the time. I was like, "This is the greatest thing in the world."
I'm laughing in my head right now because, like, the people listening are just like, what happened in what was your life?
Yeah, I know.
No,
so
but if anyone who's our age who grew up and and then good or bad, but we've seen such a change in technology in our lifetime. Like, it is, when you start to talk about it, it is absolutely crazy.
So then it went from the whole experience, for me at least, it was an experience to watch these shows on live TV when you couldn't pause, you couldn't rewind, you couldn't do anything. You had to sit and watch, and that was it. And then it kind of like went into the era of like the satellite dish sort of, where the satellite dishes became a thing.
Yeah, that changed a lot. Like, when you started to have well, depending on the satellite, remember they had those massive old school satellites that were 10 feet tall and solid steel.
Can I tell a story about one of those?
You sure can. That's what we're here for.
Yay. So my grandpa was very technologically interested in things. He loved the new technology. He was always into it. And when I was a kid, we're talking 1995-ish. Stop shaking your head.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of the Napoleon Dynamite song. Yes, I love technology. Just your grandpa singing that.
1995 or
to the satellite dish.
1994, 1995, my grandpa got one of those giant alien satellite dishes.
No,
up
those
at
things
the
were massive.
Up at the cottage.
I can't
and
imagine how much that thing cost.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know how much it cost, but he got it, and it was
Grandpa
like
Scrooge McDuck.
he got it, and it was amazing. So it was like a gazillion channels. You would get like raw feeds of things, West Coast, East Coast. You get channels. This was like unheard of at the time. Now it's like whatever, but you get a channel that just literally played the same show, like all the time.
Because it was totally different. Like it wasn't like what we think of now, like satellite.
No,
where you
no,
have
no.
that little one on the side of your house where like you pay a subscription, you get these channels.
So-
like those things were like
So this
you
is
would just pick up like everything that was on satellite.
So this is
Yeah,
how it
exactly.
worked. Every month or every week, one of the two, he would have to go visit his guy. That's what he
Oh,
always
boy.
called it, his guy.
Seems legit.
And he would have to get codes for the satellite. So I'm guessing it was he didn't pay for the satellite service. It was he paid for the
yeah,
satellite.
it was. That's what I'm saying. Like you would pick up like
Yeah.
everything that was on satellite.
And
Yeah.
so he would get codes that he'd program in to make the channels active again or however it worked. And then it was the same thing. When you hit the guide and change a channel, we would all run to the window to see the dish go.
yeah, because it's
You
like
have to tune it to those
Yeah.
the broadcast satellites.
And then there was a TV satellite TV guide, and it was like 2 inches thick and had everything.
wow.
And then, as per usual, there was channels that we were told to stay away from.
Did your grandpa watch the naughty channels?
I
The
don't
Spice
know.
Network.
And they never said what it was. My grandpa was just like, "Don't go to these channels." I don't know. I don't know. But it was really cool. It was amazing at the time. Like that to me was like sort of your like VCR thing. Like it can't get better than this. Like,
No,
this
that
is
was
amazing.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a totally different technology. Because like I said, you could pick up like
Yeah, everything.
like because I knew someone that had one, and like yeah, you could watch like baseball games
Yep.
that were not even being broad. Like it's
Yeah.
just whatever the TV stations were broadcasting
With no
back
in-
and forth and stuff. So you pick up all sorts of just random stuff. It wasn't just like
Yeah.
Without
pick up-
commercials, right?
Yeah.
you wouldn't just pick up like NBC. You could
Yeah.
pick up like
And well, you get all the affiliates, right? So you get NBC, then all like NBC Texas and NBC this and all the independent little ones. in
yeah,
their
but you'd even
programming.
get like NBC that was like
Yeah.
there'd be somebody playing every episode of
Yeah.
a show that NBC in Buffalo was going to record
Yeah, you get
to
those raw
their
feeds.
station. So like it was no customers would ever see it. It was just for the NBC states, but you could get that on those satellites and get these weird broadcasts that you would never see anywhere, like just shows.
The only reason why I remember sort of the year-ish that he got it was because it was right around the time when the O.J. Simpson trial was on, and oh man, that was amazing watching all the CNN raw feeds
That
of
was
this.
crazy.
Oh.
That trial.
We're gonna have to have a whole podcast on that trial. 'cause
yeah,
Oh, boy.
that was
I can talk about
That-
that.
Yeah.
that thing was crazy. It was everywhere.
But yeah, that's how I remember sort of the date-ish or the year is because me and my grandpa used to watch it all the time. So yeah, the satellite was kind of a new, and then it came, the satellites had the PVRs or DVRs. We call them PVRs here.
I had one of those.
The
Yeah.
small
Sure,
dishes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like those are the small distance. That was
Amazing.
a game changer. The PVR especially because
Yes.
those are totally different because then you had like the guide that you could like scroll through and like
Schedule.
schedule recordings and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, and then the PVR was all built in. It was like you didn't have to worry about like tapes running out or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. That was a big difference for me.
Eric, did you have a PVR?
I did.
Do you
I
have-
was I thought VCR Plus was the best thing in the
Right?
world. Wrong. As soon as I got that
Right?
PVR, I was like, this is where it's at right
No,
now.
that was awesome.
It was
Yeah.
crazy because you could record you could set it to record every single episode that ever was scheduled of like Friends, and it would just record them all, and you wouldn't even have to think about it. And that was sort of the first, oh my gosh, light bulb moment. That was sort of for me the first foray into like binge watching because you could just
Yeah.
record them all,
No,
and
it-
then when you're ready, just sit and watch.
Yeah, it was sort of that.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. It was like that next step into that world of like
I blame the P.
on demand.
Yeah.
You're getting closer and closer to it. Where
I
it was
blame.
kind of like do it yourself on demand.
yeah, exactly.
I
You could
blame
have
the PVR for my binge watching addiction. Thank you.
but that's where it kind of came to was
Yeah.
like so that then you could record, like you said, you could record every new episode of a show or record every episode of a show and just
Yeah.
sit and watch it whenever you wanted.
And you could skip commercials. That was the
Oh,
greatest
that
thing
was-
ever.
That was fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember recording shows and then just skip.
Well,
It's
for
like,
me, it got to the point where even if I was watching a live show, it would come on, I would pause it, do things for 10 minutes, come back and start it so I could skip commercials.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
nope, commercials were not my thing once I had the option
No.
to not use them.
Commercials are making a comeback though.
They are.
Like on streaming services, almost all of them have like a level of of your subscription.
Yeah.
That includes ads.
Yeah.
I think they've realized how much money they make off of them.
But
Yeah.
That's
let's
And you can't skip them.
no, but let's be
it's
real.
becoming like
The
what TV was.
Yeah.
the ads of today suck in comparison to the 90s commercials. They were the
yeah.
best. They were like little mini TV shows.
Well,
They were
now,
amazing.
I mean, anyone I've seen, especially like when it comes to like when you're watching like on a streaming service, it's either a commercial for that
Yeah.
streaming service
Yeah.
or like a show they already air. Like they're
Yeah.
not like commercials like where there's celebrities pitching a product. It's like
That's-
they're just hacking their own wares.
But TV commercials, especially during Saturday morning cartoons when the TV people knew all the kids were watching, that's how we knew what we wanted for our birthdays and Christmas. Watching the commercials.
So you're saying you like the commercials?
Well, when I was a kid, I did.
Oh,
yeah.
no, but yeah, you would see
I was
like, the, you know, like the new G.I. Joe
Yeah.
toy or some, I remember this like Super Soakers and all
Right?
this stuff.
The
Yeah.
Nerf
Like
guns.
you'd see the commercials
Well,
and be like,
half the cartoons when we were kids were commercials, basically.
Right.
G.I. Joe and Transformers, like, you like the cartoon, buy the toy.
well, I
Wait.
remember I had tons of, yeah.
Here's one epic commercial you'll probably remember: the Micro Machine commercial.
Oh, yeah. I love Micro Machines. The guy who could talk super fast.
That guy was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he was just
crazy.
talking like a mile a minute. Yeah, I had those little micro machines. I had a ton of those things. I
They
love
were
those
awesome.
things. They were just like little, they were
Yeah.
nothing to them. They were just little like basic like small dinky cars.
Yeah, exactly.
But I thought they were the coolest.
I know somehow they were cooler than Hot Wheels, and all they were was smaller.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
They
And
were,
it was the commercial.
they were
Yeah.
popular. And then sort of that's where we kind of were led into Netflix was sort of the first remember getting the thing in the mail and it was a DVD subscription service.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
no.
a mail
It was-
service.
I remember
Yeah.
it always seemed so strange to me. Like, why would you do this?
Yeah,
But again, then I think at that point it was geared to people that, you know, we lived in the suburbs. So
Right.
like I could easily go to the movie store.
well, you know
Right.
the big thing was no late fees.
Yeah.
That's true too. Yeah.
So that like the movie comes to your house, there's no late fees,
Yeah.
right? So that's already like two big knocks against Blockbuster. Who was their major competition at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you lived somewhere where there wasn't a Blockbuster, I was going to say, like, you know,
Yeah.
not everyone had a Blockbuster 2 minutes from their home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you lived out in some rural areas, you just be like, hey, just send me the, you know, you get it right to your mailbox and then
Yeah.
I think you watch it and then just mail it back.
I never did the DVD Netflix subscription. I
Neither
didn't do
did I.
that.
No, neither did I.
And then I remember when it turned it. I'm guessing they were. I think you have some fact dropping to do on this one, but like not in a bad way, just because I don't remember. But I think
Put Eric on the spot.
No,
I was
no.
like,
kidding. I was
"Well,
like,
I
I
don't
didn't do my homework.
as
I feel like
soon
he
as-
used to do this a lot. Now this is the second time in two episodes.
As soon as I say it, he's gonna know because he's said it before. But I'm just saying when Netflix kind of started transitioning out of the DVDs into the more streaming. But you had said before in a conversation that it was just recently that they actually dropped the DVDs fully, wasn't it?
I don't remember what you're talking about.
Shut up.
I take the fifth.
No.
No, exactly. Like their mail service stopped. It was a couple of years ago.
That's crazy to me.
I think it was like during COVID it stopped.
like they still did it. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's a whole other topic. I think you realize, like, you know, we are very lucky where we live that we have
Yeah.
high-speed internet available everywhere. But I think, you start to realize that there's still a lot of places that don't have it.
We never-
you know, you need that streaming service or delivery service because you don't have a good enough internet to watch it.
We never really asked this at the beginning. So before we get into the whole streaming portion, is really quickly just, Eric, what streaming TV services do you have right now?
Oh my God. I've got Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Paramount Plus, and Disney Plus.
What about you?
And then, Netflix, Disney, Prime, which has a couple of subscriptions in there, Apple TV Plus, then a couple of free ones we have up here is like
Pluto
Pluto
and all that
TV,
stuff.
Tubi
Oh
TV.
yeah.
I mean, I have all those too. I think it's fair to say that like streaming is clear. Like none of us here have any kind of cable.
No.
No, I
service.
I canceled my cable
It's
a couple years
too
ago.
expensive in Canada. It's
Well, it's
ridiculous.
I wasn't using. There's nothing on there that I wanted to watch enough that.
Even
No.
with all the subscription services added together, it's still cheaper than cable.
It's cheaper. It's getting up there though. If you add
It
them all
is.
together,
It is.
you're getting close.
It is.
Getting, yeah.
And yeah, well, I mean, the streaming service is just a better product than like the cable and stuff. Like having to wait for a show to start seems kind of silly now.
I also
Yeah, for sure.
I just like the fact that I can watch something when I want to watch it, not when I have to watch it.
Well, and that's the
Yeah.
big plus of streaming is you can just watch whatever you want when you want.
And I'm a
You know.
huge binge watcher, so I want to watch like the whole series like in one go.
Yeah. No, and that's what it's great for is when I want. The only thing I hate with streaming that's really hard is for live sports.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
But I was reading an article though. Apparently, they're saying that at least in the U.S., I think a couple of like NBC or ESPN and stuff might partner up a couple of them
Oh,
a couple of
really?
competitors might partner up and do some sort of shared sports
Oh,
platform.
Yeah.
interesting.
So they were saying like up here in Canada, maybe Rogers and Bell should look at doing that because they own like, you know.
Because I was waiting for Disney to do something like that. Disney owns ESPN, right?
Because they're saying Disney.
So I was waiting for
and,
Disney to like include ESPN in their Disney Plus package and have some like live channels in there or something.
Yeah. So they're looking at how to do it.
And then this is kind of really quickly, I mean, this is probably a whole separate discussion that we can talk about, but just really quickly, speaking of TV and streaming, one of the biggest things people are watching is YouTube, which is like its own little TV thing in itself.
YouTube, I think that.
And
I
it's
think
free.
they totally underestimated the draw of that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't think they
YouTube's massive.
really, you know, how many
Yeah.
people wanted to watch average, regular
Yeah.
people making content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there are obviously now YouTube has gotten massive, so there are obviously stars on YouTube. Like
Yeah, of
everyone
course.
knows like Mr. Beast and all these guys.
Yeah.
But that's just a top layer. But you
Yeah.
go underneath there, there's so many even people like us.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's free, right? Like that's the biggest thing. It's free, and yeah,
Yeah.
there's commercials, but whatever. But it's free. Like people don't have to pay for it, so it's an option, and you can get like
well, there's something on there for everybody.
Yeah.
Whatever your interest is, there's something you can find on YouTube that's geared toward what you know.
YouTube's the second largest search engine in the world,
Yeah.
behind Google.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So if you want to watch like how-to videos or vlogs or podcasts,
Yeah.
you know, like it's all there.
Exactly, and it's something like like Disney Plus and Netflix. They'll never have that level of like variety.
No, and especially like if you're into certain topics and stuff like that, like, you know,
Yeah.
if you're into music and stuff like that, certain bands, like you can find so much stuff on there. Like it's crazy and it's endless. Like there's
Yeah.
so much content on there that you'll never run out of it.
All right, are you guys ready for something fun?
I'm always ready for fun.
Always ready for fun.
I've been waiting for this whole podcast to
I
be fun.
got a quiz for you.
Quiz time.
Quiz.
Time. Can you pass me my? I'm old. Okay, I need my pen and paper.
Oh my god!
I didn't use my phone. I put it on paper.
I'm trying not to knock my microphone here.
Okay, don't look at my notes. All right, guys, this is the. Don't look.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
I don't know why I was like looking.
You know what? I'm like, don't look, and he's looking straight at
Well,
it.
that's the, so you say don't do something. What's your first
That's right.
reaction?
All
Do
right.
it.
Don't look at the sun, huh?
So I'm asking for 5 here, just off the top of your head. Don't think too hard about it. Eric, we'll start with you.
Okay.
This is how it was worded on the internet, so don't at me, okay? Highest rated TV shows of all time. I want your top 5.
Highest rated. Okay, of all time, top 5.
Yep, top 5 go.
I'm gonna say all time. All right,
Off the top of your head, let's go.
I'm going. Jesus, pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say MASH because MASH was a huge show. The biggest finale of all time, I still believe.
Mm-hmm.
Seinfeld. Friends. I got 2 more, right? ER
Okay.
and Game of Thrones.
All right, Steve. Highest rated TV shows of all time.
So this is a weird one because
Don't think, just say.
what does highest rated
Just
mean?
say. Go.
I'm thinking like
Is this
who,
the,
many people watched it,
That's
or,
what-
is it
that's what I
like,
was
or
going
you're
by.
talking like a Rotten
Again.
Tomatoes type thing. So okay, I'm gonna go. Let's say, copy Eric and say Max. I'm positive that was like the most watched
Okay.
show of all times.
Okay.
Friends, Seinfeld. I think those 2 have to be on there. They're massive. I'm gonna throw in my favorite show just because The Sopranos.
Okay.
And how many does that?
I think you have one more.
One more. Mary Tyler Moore Show.
All right. I don't really remember who got what, but I feel like you guys probably tied.
you're the worst quizmaster of all time.
All right. So here they are. And it's 1 to 5. So I'm guessing most to least. I don't know. Game of Thrones. I think you said Game of Thrones.
I did.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking
Highest
Bad.
rated.
Okay, so this is definitely based. This is like a Rotten Tomatoes type thing, which
Okay.
makes that's an
Yeah.
amazing
Let me
show.
finish my
So,
story.
Okay.
My quiz.
This sounds like a story.
Number 3 is Friends. Yeah. Friends is good. Number 4, The Office.
Wow.
And number 5, Sopranos.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
See,
So-
Sopranos, I wasn't sure. Like I said,
So
I
I
didn't know
think
how
we
you.
tied.
I didn't know how you ranked them. So
Yeah.
that's a hard one because if you're talking like that's obviously based on like.
That's
There's
gotta be
no-
like critics data.
There was
Which
no
surprised me, Friends is on there because it was a good show, Friends, but
I mean,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Never
Yeah.
critically
but compared to like
acclaimed.
Breaking Bad and like The Sopranos and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
some of the other shows.
I'm sitting here thinking about now. We need to have a whole other episodes on like specific shows because I'm just like you guys with Seinfeld. I could probably talk for an hour about Friends.
Oh
and the
yeah,
pop
no, we're
culture
definitely
of
gonna do
it.
some deep dives in some of our favorite
Yeah,
shows.
this is
so
just
far.
sort of like overview of like generality.
Well, we're talking here just about streaming versus the way we consume TV, how it's changed
Yeah.
and what's better.
But before we end, again, we have to answer the question we started with because That's just what we do here.
Yeah.
So, Steve, this time I'll start with you.
Ooh,
Whoa,
hot seat.
wow.
I know, right? Hopefully you've been thinking about it. Which era is better, the 90s TV watching or the streaming?
So this is a tough one because in terms of today's streaming, it's so much easier. You can watch what you want, when you want, anywhere you want. But you've lost all of the fun of big premieres, TV shows, the hype around it, like the water cooler talk. Now you might get a week out of a show because the next season of Stranger Things drops as one season. People watch it in like 2 days, and then it's sort of gone from the zeitgeist of anyone talking about it again. So in terms of just me with my nostalgic glasses, I'm going to say it was better before.
Oh, interesting.
It was much more fun and much more of a thing. Now I just flip on a small screen and hit play.
All right, Eric, what about you?
I think follow the trend. I think look at what's happening. They're going from where streaming services started, which was here's your whole season, like you were talking about, going back to let's release episodes one at a time. Mm-hmm. So we're going back to the way things were in the 90s anyways, right?
We are, and that's
I think that's because that was the better era in a lot of ways. It was more we had the communal experience of watching shows together, the excitement of a new show coming out, all that stuff. I think the reason why things are going back that way. What are you laughing at?
It's fine because you guys stole all my answers. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Quizmaster.
No, go
having a mind meld over here.
Yeah, but I'm I think just follow the trend, and I think it's going back to the way things were in the 90s because it was better back then.
I think they realized it was for everybody, for viewers, and because they're going to make their money. Obviously, they realized you can't just be dropping full seasons of shows that cost $1 billion to create in a week and have people watch it and be done with it.
Don't at me, but I think there's maybe some value in not being able to get what you want whenever you want.
Yeah, having it.
Can I answer?
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I forgot you're still here.
Right?
Oh, hey, what's up, Quizmaster?
So I'm taking a little bit of both from Steve and Eric. Again, I am totally a person of immediate satisfaction or gratification. I want what I want when I want it to watch it. I don't want to do it when I'm told to do it, right?
Mm-hmm,
I want to watch Netflix when I'm in the bathtub, on my phone, whatever. But nothing will ever bring back the feeling of, sort of what you guys talked about back in the 90s watching the series finale of Seinfeld. It was everybody in your family sat on the couch and watched it together. At the time, it was annoying. But thinking back, now for me at least, TV watching is individual. Because I watch it when I watch it in the bathtub. I watch it before I go to bed.
It's lost any of the luster or the
discussion.
The hype of it all. It's gone. It's just I'm just going to watch it now. I hit pause and I'll pick it up later on my iPhone.
It feels a lot more disposable now.
And you used to go to school or work and talk about, oh my God, did you see The Simpsons, that thing or this and that? And now people just, because people don't watch it all at the same time anymore. It's when, it's like, oh, did you ever watch? No, I haven't watched it yet. Oh, I watched it this or whatever, right?
Yeah,
that shared experience.
I do miss that. And again, at the time, you don't realize it until it's gone. And even with the way that they're kind of going back to having seasons where they're not releasing it at once, you're never going to get that communal watching it with people again. It's just I remember I used to have watch parties with friends when I was a teenager watching friends would come over and now it just doesn't happen.
So if I invite you guys over to watch TV, you're not coming basically. What you're telling
I want
me.
to come. I want to bring back the nostalgia. It was fun, but
the good old days.
So I do miss that. But overall, I do have to say that the streaming is where it's at for me. I can't, that's amazing. It's amazing to be able to watch when you want, what you want when you want.
So your answer is?
It's better now, but I miss the nostalgia and the friendship and the family.
It's just funny when we start to talk about it more, you realize how much it really has changed.
It's so different.
It is crazy.
I watch TV by myself 99% of the time, and that's fine. And I didn't think anything of it until I went back and thought about fighting with my sister on the couch over the blanket while we were watching, whatever TV show.
Yeah, so you're going to throw away all your TVs now and just go back to having one and share it with everyone?
Yeah, no, I don't think I could do that. But it's interesting because, again, lots of people will never experience that.
No, exactly.
Ever.
It's
Ever.
just, yeah.
Even right now, my niece and nephew, they have their own iPads. They watch their own TV separately. They don't watch it together. It's just the way it is, right? It's just,
times change, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, again, another interesting conversation that brought
They're
up
strangers, not siblings.
that brought up some nostalgia. Comment on the YouTube video if you're watching. Hi guys, comment below and just let us know what you think or what your thoughts are. And on the podcast, if we can comment, we're not sure yet.
Yeah, leave a review, say hi. We're always involved in the comments. And you guys check us out on all the streaming and social media platforms at Gen X Unfiltered.
Yes, and we really appreciate you guys sticking through with us for these first new episodes that we're learning ourselves. And we hope you will continue on with with us. We have lots of fun ideas.
That's right. We'll be dropping an episode. Right now, we're going to be doing every week. We'll be dropping a fresh, hot episode for you guys.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate all of your support. And I guess we will see and hear you next time.
That's right. We'll talk to you guys in the next one.
Bye,
Sounds good.
guys.
All right, bye, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.